The girl's name was Tracy, and she was a pretty well-known prostitute in the Gulfport area a long time ago. When our Tracy was born to us, we talked about that. Pat knew the other Tracy. She said, I wonder if that's a good name. And I said, I think it's a great name. I said, look what God in his grace did for that Tracy. I met her in jail. One of the officers in the Gulfport Police was a member of the congregation I served at that time and said, there's a lady in the jail I'd like you to meet. Said she's in all the time and out all the time. She said, that's the way it works with these girls. And so I went to meet her, and we got to be friends, and I'd bring a little thing. She actually said to me one time, what do you expect to get out of this? And I said, maybe a friend. And I said, and no more. And so another time when I came back, she said, you gave me that upper room. I've been reading that thing, little devotional book. Incidentally, there's always one here for you, no charge. And she said, what's grace about? Is there really any such thing? She said, I'm talking about really any such thing as a God that loves you and knows your story, knows all of it. And I said, yes, Tracy, there is such a God. And it's the most real thing that any of us know. In fact, it's the only thing that allows any of us to become who we are. She said, what if I choose it? I said, I can't answer that for you, Trace. I said, but if you choose it, it'd be good. And so she did. When I left Gulfport, she was the head waitress at a Waffle House. She said, I don't make nearly as much money, but I'm a whole lot more happy. And she said, I have a boyfriend. And she said, guess what? I said, what? She said, he's a Pentecostal preacher. You think God's not full of grace? You think that God can't make the most amazing realities out of the most amazing situations, right? And so it's going to be a quick sermon. You've got a lot to put up with this morning. But in having Max Lucado run into my heart again in his books, in the book Grace that one of y'all gave us, he asked this question: when is the last time that you have been shaped by grace? You know, you stop to think about it. If you've made a change in the way you think and the way you feel, or in the way you choose to relate to another person, or in the way you think about life and the world, what's happened then is you are being shaped from the inside out. And the context of that shape and the reality of that shape is grace. It's this love in spite of everything. It's this unconditional love that doesn't back away from us, that doesn't give up on us. It shapes us. And so one of the nice things we might be able to do is when we walk out of the church today is to say, I'm being shaped inside and out by the grace of God. And then when have we been softened by grace? I hate to tell you this, but some of us could use a little softening politically. Don't talk about that, huh? Yeah, you talk about that. You talk about the fact that we might have different opinions, but how we present those opinions, how we stand by those opinions, how we flesh out those opinions makes all the difference. And sometimes we need to be a little softened. And in that softness, begin to look and listen to what the other person says. I wrote something this week that really spoke to me about prayer. It said, what we say is not nearly so important in a prayer as the one who hears it. Isn't that it, you know? And when you live your life of witness and testimony to somebody else, isn't it interesting to think about the fact that if you have an attitude toward them that includes soft grace, making a little space for their opinion, whether it's yours or not, maybe their approach to life or maybe even their lifestyle, that's important because that's what God has in mind with the kind of grace that shapes us and softens our insides. Doesn't mean that all the bad things go away. Doesn't mean that all of the hard stuff is set aside. What it does mean is we respond to it in different style, in different fashion. Then when have you been strengthened by grace? I have. Just a minute ago, standing up there. I did this morning when I got up and did my salt and soda goggle. Do that every morning, you all. It retards virus growth. My doctor told me, and I listened. And turned around and looked at the top of my preaching calendar and saw the name of Henry Nouwen. And this little quote by Henry Nouwen. Grace makes you change gears. Grace makes you revise opinions. Grace makes you change your mind and your style. And grace makes you strong. Have you ever thought about it when you do something that requires some strength? I guess I was about 11, maybe 12. I began to hear people say unkind things about people of color, using ugly words. You know what I'm talking about. And then I got a little older and went to youth camp and had an experience of Christ, giving my life and beginning to understand that it's process and not event. It's not one little thing at a camp, but it's everything that comes after that, you know. And I hate to confess this to you, but I was 17 years old before somebody used the N-word in my presence. And I said, that's wrong. Please don't do that again. I said, that is wrong. And every time you stand up for anything that's worth standing up for, that you know you need to be a representative of and for, it's going to take some strengthening grace. But you know what's great about it? What's great about it is that it's available. What's great about it is that it's there. What's great about it is that it's for you, and that it's for me, and that it's for this broken world of ours. So, grace to you. Grace to us. Grace in spite of everything.